back. And now we're going to look back at week 24 from FPL and look ahead to the double game week of week 25, or double for some teams and no game for some teams as well, which adds some interesting complications to the week. And really, let's start by looking back at week 24. You can go through your team first, Glenn. Week 24 performance.
Yeah, week 24 performance, not great. I mean, 2,400, well, call it 2.4 million. Obviously, slightly a bit above average, but not fantastic. I think I went with Edison. I mean, playing Forest away, I thought it was not nearly a banker of a clean sheet, but obviously not. And then De Gea on the bench. I thought Leicester in form. They've scored 4 against Spurs, and I thought, well, they probably will score at Old Trafford. So I missed out on a few points there, but I wouldn't have changed anything. I wouldn't have done anything differently. I put Tarkowski in, which turned out to be good, knowing he'd be playing twice in a double game week. Originally, I was thinking Coleman, which I'm a bit gutted about now, but I suppose I can't be too disappointed with 8 points from Tarkowski. Martinelli, bit of luck with him, I suppose, coming on for 20 minutes and getting a 96-minute goal, was it? Or about 98th or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Odegaard obviously still going fairly strong. He's not, last couple of weeks he's not done too good, but another 8-pointer. Obviously the big disappointment is Haaland, but it doesn't really make too much difference. Well, any difference if he scores, because 85% have got him, and I don't think there's many in probably a top million who won't have him. I suppose in hindsight you'd captain someone differently, but how many times would you think, he's not going to score against Forest? But maybe next time I will have to go take a risk and captain. Well, obviously Rashford would have been, but it's easy to say now. I'll just definitely captain someone else.
Well, at least you've got Rashford in your team.
Yeah, well, I suppose I did. I mean, I originally got Rashford quite a long time ago when only maybe 7-8% had him. But I think his scoring will slow down soon. But I'm not going to get rid of him for quite a long time, because this is for the value. What about your team?
Yeah, Rashford's in incredible form right now, and I got rid of Rashford last week because of Arsenal's double game week, putting Odegaard, which isn't a complete disaster because Odegaard performed well this week, but not so well last week. I'm still down from that transfer because Rashford's been so good. I took a bit of a gamble there to get rid of Rashford because I did have him for a few weeks and he did pretty well. But I've had a bad week this week. I've slipped down a little bit to 32,000th, was in the top 5,000 just a couple of weeks ago. Only 4.4 millionth this week with 48 points. Pickford in goal was a good transfer. Getting rid of Pope, a timely transfer. Getting rid of Nick Pope at that time. Pope with a red card and 2 goals conceded. So brought in Pickford at the right time, knowing that Everton have got double game week this week. Webber for Leeds. That punt has not worked out at all. Only another 1 point for him there, and an injury as well, which adds ramifications for this week. Trippier, well, performance against Liverpool was as it was. Liverpool went 2-0 up early, and Newcastle had 10 men, so it was never going to be a great game for Trippier. Shaw continues to get points for me. Andreas came in the midfield, 3 points, but nothing else. But Andreas has been very solid. They've been on a bench a lot of the season. I think a lot of people haven't had him on benches, but this is a very solid selection. It's done very well this year. 18.3% of people have Andreas. Pereira, which is interesting. De Bruyne didn't do anything this week, but did really well last week, so I can't complain. Odegaard, I've already mentioned him. Good 8 points from him. Saka, another goal from Saka, which is good. Saka's again continues to perform really well. 35.7% of people have got him currently in decent form. Saka, Martinelli, as you mentioned, lucky to get him the goal, and then Kane with an assist. Kane again, great season. The numbers have crept up for Kane a lot 37% now. It was only in less than 20% for a lot of the season. And then Haaland, 85% of people. So that's actually dropped a little bit. I think it peaked around 87%. So people are removing Haaland a little bit, but Haaland still, yeah, he's not in the best of form he's been all season, but he's still in decent form. It's just because he hasn't been in the most exceptional form. If you look at Haaland, he's still this week obviously only 2 points. Last week 6th and 4, 2, 17, 6, 2, 2, 6, 13. So it's not.
Yeah.
His scoring has stopped. No,
But,
it's not stopped. His scoring has slowed down, but he's still
yep.
doing well.
Yeah, he'll probably go and score like 6 in his next 2 or 3 games. So you can never get rid of him. It's too much of a risk to get rid of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It literally cost you 30 points 1 week or more. But I suppose with Kane, I think more people might have Kane because more people had Salah at the start of the season. And normally, if you have 2 high-end players, I think a lot of people had Salah and Haaland, and they've probably moved to Kane because he's obviously second top scorer, maybe. I don't know. It could be something like that.
Kane is incredible. Let's look at the top scorers right now. With Haaland up there, number 1 still, 183 points. Kane in second place, 155. Then Rashford, Trippier, Saka, Odegaard, I mentioned them. De Bruyne, you see up there, still in 7th place for the season, well, joint with anyway. Then Tony.
But is it worth the money? That's the thing.
Well, who knows? Yeah, it's an interesting one with De Bruyne, but he said, well, he's expensive, and he's more expensive than Haaland. So, is he worth the money? It's a question. Same with Salah, he's still up there. Tony up there. Almiron still up there with only 5.5 million. That's why people have been attracted to Almiron. I've resisted. Martinelli still down there, 6.5 million. He's in bad form, but you look at the season. Having an amazing.
Still up there, yeah.
Yeah, Raya for Brentford, the goalkeeper that's doing really well.
Top scoring goalkeeper, Raya.
Yes, he is now because Pope's been moved down a slot after his -3 against Liverpool, which is quite a hefty amount of points. That was such a timely transfer. I put Pickford in just because Everton were playing 2 games, so a bit of luck there. Probably would have kept Pope.
Yeah.
If Newcastle had a game this week. So let's look at the fixtures for this week.
Tell them about your goalkeeping tip as well. A lot of people won't be aware of it.
I think this is a good tip. Let's go through the I think it's a good tip in theory. So if you've got 2 goalkeepers from the same team, you should put the reserve keeper in your starting lineup. Because if your keeper gets a red card, you lose a lot of points. Then the other keeper's going to come in. But I guess I think that's the right way to go about it. I've never done that, but now I'm thinking that's the right way to go. The only issue with that, I guess, is if your goalkeeper gets injured after say 60 minutes and he's got a clean sheet, and then your sub-keeper comes on. It could work like that.
But
that's unlikely.
It's very unlikely that a goalkeeper ever goes off injured. It's normally sent off.
It is, yes, yeah. A goalkeeper, and it would have to be specifically a goalkeeping injury after 60 minutes, and the team would have to be keeping a clean sheet, or for that to be a really bad move. So it feels like it's the right move. If a goalkeeper gets sent off after 20 minutes, and then you've got your reserve keeper to come on, I think it's just the right play. You avoid the red card and everything. Yeah, I guess, but then. I suppose the team could concede a bucket load as well with 10 men. That's the converse, but I still think.
But
at
least you're not going to get. Well, it's unlikely you're going to get minus points.
Yeah, it's unlikely. Yes. What's insane this week is Dubravka ends up with 8 points this week, coming from the bench, and Pope ends up with -3. So it's. It's incredible, really. So it's quite interesting. So let's look at the fixtures now for week 25. Let's start with the weekend's games, and let's go to the bonus games. So weekend's games are Fulham versus Wolves on a Friday night. Mitrovic, if he gets back fit, then that'll be a good one for Mitrovic owners. Then on Saturday, 25th, Everton Villa, good for Everton defenders, and Everton then play again in the week against Arsenal. Away there, Leeds, Southampton, Leicester, Arsenal. So Arsenal don't have such a bad game away at Leicester. Leicester conceding plenty, so you back them to get score a couple at least in that one, at least a goal. They'd think Arsenal and potentially a lot more. West Ham Forest. Not many people are going to have many players for either of those teams, and probably not worth bringing in because neither of them got doubles this week. Bournemouth, Man City. Well, Man City expect them to bounce back there, and then Palace, Liverpool. Liverpool are finally winning games, and they've got 2 games this week, and they're pretty nice fixtures. Palace away,
Yeah,
at home, so Liverpool players real potential. Spurs, Chelsea on Sunday. Well, he wouldn't be bringing in any players from either side this week. I think if you didn't already have them. And then the double game week fixtures that, like mentioned before, Arsenal, Everton, and Liverpool, Wolves. So a lot of people are going to have loads of Arsenal players anyway. So I think that's self-explanatory.
yeah,
Arsenal players, play them all, potential captains, and then Liverpool players potentially to targets getting in. Same with Everton. Everton do have that. It's a tricky game where Arsenal, where they have Villa at home and Arsenal away, and they certainly could still do all right from both those games combined. Especially,
yeah. I still think it's worth a punt on a defender or a goalkeeper. I wouldn't rush to get many other Everton players because they don't really score many. They're not going to score many under Deitch. So I think a defender or Pickford.
but I've gone for 2. I've
Uh,
brought in Tarkovsky. I think a lot of people have done that, and I've also brought in Pickford last week. So I'm going with both
yeah,
and Tarkovsky as things stand. That's what I'm going with. Well, I'm going with them regardless. But I mean, that's the team as things stand. So doubling up on Everton, but I do feel like I want to get in Salah for Liverpool and maybe take a -4 hit. I've resisted any -4 hits all season, but I think it might be time to take one because the double.
yeah. I think the only Liverpool players. I think it's definitely worth getting at least one in, but I think either Salah obviously is probably number one, then Trent would say number two, because I don't think any other midfielder or forward player apart from Salah probably might only play one, so it's not worth taking a big hit, a minus to get another one in. Even Alisson, I think he's like one of the top 3 keepers possibly. If he's going to play both games, obviously, unless he gets injured. So
Alisson's
Alisson's another.
third best keeper on points at minute
Yeah,
98 points.
and then out of them 2 games, you'd fancy one clean sheet at least. So depends who your keeper is at the moment. Unless they're already playing 2 games, that's probably another one worth looking at. Wolves players, I wouldn't really rush to get any Wolves players, to be honest.
No, the Fulham game is not too far away, and Liverpool, although they've picked up in form, Wolves beat Liverpool 3-0
Yeah,
last week or the week before. The week before last, wasn't it? So Wolves, and they were also unlucky against them in the FA Cup when they drew 2.
yeah,
They should have beaten them. So Wolves have got 2 away games, and Fulham's not an easy away game either, really, particularly because Fulham have been really good this season. But the Wolves do seem to step up in the big games and do have a good record against Liverpool this season. So yeah, I wouldn't really be back bringing in a Wolves player, but I don't think it's a terrible move to do so. But it's who you would bring in from Wolves. There's not a lot of selections that really stand out in that time.
no,
If you really wanted to take a big punt, I don't think it's the worst punt in the world bringing in a Wolves player. But is it
no.
worth taking a -4 to get rid of De Bruyne to put in Salah? I'm not sure. Probably, possibly. If
It's
you,
not a massive risk, I suppose.
it depends if people have got players that aren't playing, then it's definitely worth, I think, taking a -4 to get a Liverpool player because they've certainly got 2 games. But if they don't, then possibly not. Van Dijk for Liverpool is one I think is worth considering if he's playing both the games, just returning from injury. or another Liverpool defender. I think Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are still very expensive, given how bad they've performed this season as well. I'm not rushing to.
It depends if you can afford them. If you've got Trippier and you've got a bit of spare money, because Trippier's first game, well, next game is Man City away, so potentially, if you can do that switch, Trippier to Trent, I'd say that's a good move to do.
Yeah,
It
probably.
needs about
Yes, yeah. I think if,
1 million, 1.5 million spare or something.
Yeah, for the next for these two games, yeah, probably because he's going to play in both, and you'd think get a clean sheet in one of them, or so you're going to get some kind of return. So yeah, the problem is then you're getting rid of Trippier, who's gone up in value a lot, and then it's replacing.
Yeah, but I suppose looking at next is with having Man City away, and then looking at the next few.
I can afford
Wolves at home.
I can afford Trippier to Trent, you see, or Trippier to Robertson. It's whether I decide to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment I'm thinking Trippier to Trent, but
Well,
I might try and still find.
Newcastle's next game when they return. Obviously, no game this week is Man City away,
Yeah.
and after that it's Wolves at home, which you'd bank them to do well in, and then it's Forest away, and then after that it is Man United at home. So Newcastle have got two hard games and two reasonably decent games in the next four. So it's there's two hard games that do make you think. If we
And
compare,
Newcastle have started leaking more goals as well, haven't they? Well, not leaking, but concede at least.
yes, exactly, yeah. If we compare it to Liverpool's
So,
fixtures, Liverpool's fixtures are Palace and Wolves this week. Then Man United are obviously a hard game there. Then Bournemouth away, Fulham at home. Then they've got Man City and Arsenal. So Liverpool have also got three incredibly difficult games in their next 7 games. So that's the only thing. But the other ones are pretty decent games. It's a tricky one, really. They've both got difficult-ish games coming up. So it's it's a tricky one. But the minute that's where I'm going. But I'm almost certainly going to do another -4 transfer this week and getting a Liverpool play, because my defense currently is weak with Wober not great for Leeds and looking like he could be injured. Although they are playing Southampton at home, and then Lewis, well, he's only in there to keep the value of my squad down, and he may or may not start against Bournemouth. Mings, well, whether or not keeping clean sheets at all at the minute. So I need to potentially, and obviously Trippier's not playing, and Liverpool have a double. So I'm probably getting rid of Trippier and bringing in a Liverpool defender. But who that is, I'm not sure as of yet. It's going to be one of three: Robertson, Van Dijk, or Alexander-Arnold. Probably Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, it's really decided. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, I'll probably do Trippier to Trent, but then I'm still debating whether to do a -4. But I don't know who that -4 would be, because I'd have to do another one to get salary, and I'd have to do 3 transfers. So, and then I'd probably have to get rid of Kane. So on balance, I'd probably just do the one.
Do that. No, you probably just want to stick with the one.
It's not really worth. I don't really want to get rid of Rashford, because I could put a Liverpool midfielder in, like someone like Gakpo, for example, but he might not play both games, and it probably won't be worth the -4. So I'll probably just do the one, and then I'll still have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll still have 5 players playing twice, which I don't think is too bad.
Who are you going to do?
Pardon?
Who are you going to take out?
Trippier.
Trippier for Trent or Robertson. Yeah.
Probably Trent. I mean, Robertson's more tempting because a lot less people will have him, but I suppose he doesn't take as many set pieces, and Trent's still fairly low ownership. So I think that's what I'll go for. Yeah. I see what his ownership is. Let's have a look.
Let's see what happens this week then. Yeah,
His ownership is, well, it's 19%, which is
that's gonna rise massively this week. It's gonna almost.
Robertson's only 6.7,
Mm,
and they've got exactly the same amount of points. So Robertson's probably more tempting in a way. So, but then he gets rotated a bit more than Trent. So yeah, I'll have to weigh those things up.
mm. I think Trent is gonna. Yeah, I think Trent's selection is gonna massively fly through the roof this week. But we'll see. And Van Dijk 10% currently owned. I think that'll increase as well. Gomez, who played last game as well, just 4.3 million bargain. If he plays. But that's the problem with Liverpool defenders. You never fully know, especially the centre backs who's gonna about Van Dijk, because you never know who's gonna partner him. Right, well, leave it there then, and just put something on the side there. We'll leave it there and see what happens this week. Good luck.
Bye.
Good luck, all. Good luck, everybody. Goodbye.
100 points from everyone. Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.